So let us look into the problem of projectile motion. It is based on true and false. Statements are given and we have to select whether that statement is true or false with justification. So first one is, in projectile motion, the horizontal and the vertical motions are independent to each other. Vertical motion and the horizontal motion in a projectile is independent to each other when it is thrown in an Earth's gravitational field. See, both of vertical and horizontal direction is making 90-degree angle to each other. That is one thing. So no component of vertical direction will be there in the horizontal direction. Means component of the vertical direction motion will be 0 in the horizontal direction and vice versa. And you know, when an object or a particle is thrown in an Earth gravitational field, the only force, if the frictional force due to air is absent, the only force will act on that projectile body will be the gravitational force. So because of this force, there will be an acceleration in the vertical direction. But in horizontal direction, there is no force acting on it. So if a projectile is projected at an oblique angle from the Earth surface, so vertical component will experience an acceleration, and because of that the velocity of the vertical component will change. But in the horizontal direction, as the air friction is absent, there is no force acting in the horizontal direction. So it will keep on moving with the constant velocity in the horizontal direction. And the vertical component of the motion will not have any effect with respect to velocity and acceleration on the horizontal component, though it is happening simultaneously. Basically, the motion will be a combination of vertical motion and the horizontal motion. But these two motions are not affecting each other. So we can say that it is independent to each other. So our part 1 answer will be true. Now let us look for the second part. A projectile is projected from ground with speed u and angle of projection alpha. If alpha varies from 30 degree to 60 degree, keeping u constant, then range first increases, then decreases, while maximum height and time of flight both will increase. So as per question, the projectile is projected with velocity u and making an angle alpha from the horizontal. So if we say this as x-axis, and this side is y-axis. So you have the equation. First thing we should look into, it is asking for the range. So you know that the formula for range is u square sine 2 alpha by g for this motion. You also know that value of sine angle, if we say 2 alpha is equal to theta, so sine theta will increase when theta is changing from 0 degree to 90 degree. Means from 0 degree to 90 degree. So from 0 to 90 degree, the sine theta will increase, means sine 2 alpha will increase. But what will be the value of alpha when the theta is 90 degree? So alpha will be theta by 2, that is 45 degree. So we can say comfortably that from 30 degree to 45 degree, the range will increase. So range is increasing when the angle changes from 30 degree to 45 degree. Now what will happen after 45 degree? Then again you know that the value of the sine theta will start decreasing after 90 degree. So this 60 degree of alpha will make the theta 120 degree. Means from 90 to 120 degree, the value of sine theta will decrease. So we can say that R is decreasing after 45 degree to 60 degree. So about the range, the statement what is given is true. Now the next one is maximum height. So you know the formula for maximum height in case of a projectile is uy naught squared divided by 2g, where uy naught is the component of initial velocity in the y direction, that is your sine alpha, u sine alpha. U square sine square alpha by 2g. So alpha is changing from 30 to 60 degrees. So the value of sine square alpha will keep on increasing from 30 to 60 degrees. So therefore H max will keep on increasing. So for 30 degree to 60 degree, your H max will increase for the value for alpha is equal to alpha greater than and equal to for this value. So statement for maximum height is also okay. Then we can check for the time of flight. So you know the equation for time of flight. Your uy naught is your initial velocity in the y direction. That is mu sine alpha by g. Again, as the alpha increases from 0 to 90 degree, sine alpha will increase. So angle is from 30 degree to 60 degree, means between 30 to 60 degree when the angle is increasing, sine alpha will increase. So your time of flight will also increase. So time of flight will increase when the angle is in between these two angles. So the third statement also is true. So part 2 we can write all the statements are true. Regarding the sine theta, how it increases between 0 to 90 degree and after 90 to 180 degree it decreases. So we should try to understand like this. This angle is 30 degree. This total angle is 120 degree. So in sine of the angle, you know that sine theta is equal to P by H. Here what is your H? H is the radius of this circular arc, right? So it will be P by R. But when the angle increase, let us say we reached here. So you can see that the P, so this is your P, this is your H. Now this is your P, this is your H. So the length of the P is increasing, where H is same. H is equal to R. Right? So angle increased, your value of sine theta increased. When the angle becomes 90 degree, so your P and H coincides, the length becomes equal. So in that case, you sin theta sin 90 degree, P and H becomes equal. So it is 1. So this is the place where the sin theta becomes maximum, that is 1. Again, after this, if we go further down, if we increase the angle further, see, your P has decreased from H. Here the P was equal to H, but now the length of the P, the perpendicular, has reduced from H. This one is H only, right? So P by H is reducing. So we can say that after 90 degree, your sin theta decreases. So this way also you can understand, or the other way, if you are well versed with the graph, you know the sine curve, how the sine curve is drawn. So the sine curve goes like this. This one is your 90 degree angle here. This side is your sin theta. You can write this side is sin theta and this is your angle. So this place, the value of sin theta is 1. So from 0 degree angle, this is 90 degree angle. So from 0 degree to 90 degree, the sin theta increases. From 90 to 180 degree, it decreases. This way also you can understand why we have said in the earlier comment that sin theta is increasing from, so when the angle theta is changing from 0 to 90 degree, and after 90 degree it starts decreasing.